Welcome to the ArmaniTalks podcast. I'm your host, ArmaniTalks. In this podcast, I'm helping you level up your 5 soft skills: public speaking, storytelling, social dynamics, emotional intelligence, and creativity. 5 soft skills for you to change your life forever, skyrocket your confidence along the way. In this episode, we're entering the world of storytelling, and I'm going to be speaking about a position called the CSO. Recently, a lot of companies have been hiring a position called the CSO, which stands for Chief Storytelling Officer. If you were to tell me that the CSO was going to become a popular position a couple of years back, I don't know if I would have believed in you. Because a couple of years back, when I was getting my master's degree in information systems, a position that was becoming extremely popular was a position called the CIO, which stood for Chief Information Officer. You see, around that time, big data was becoming a thing. Due to a lot of different advances in technology, companies were now having a lot of data regarding their past customers and potential customers nowadays. So much data talking about where these customers are from, their purchasing habits, their ethnicity, and so much more. Add all that data with artificial intelligence and information systems, the next thing that happened was that data was able to be structured. And structured data equals information. So it wasn't rocket science to understand that a lot of companies needed that CIO to make sense of that data and to present it to the higher ups. Now fast forward a few more years to the present day. Why the CSO? Well, when you think about it and you break it down, it's not rocket science. Because all this information out there, once you're done presenting it to the higher ups, who do you have to present to next? You're going to have to present it to the public. And when you are going to present information to the public, how are you going to do it? Are you going to do it through PowerPoints, charts, and data? Or are you going to do it in a way where you get that information, you put some coloring on it, you bring it to life with a story, and then you deliver it to the public? The answer is quite obvious. You want to do it in the storytelling fashion. So a CSO is absolutely needed for someone who is growing. It's needed for a company at this stage that has been ready to evolve to a new level. Because when communicating with humans, we got to understand that the average person is not sitting down meditating every single day, or better yet, they don't have the tamed ego to want to listen to other people who are not benefiting them in some way, shape, or form. So unless you're educating them, entertaining them, or doing a little bit of both, that means the general public is not going to be listening to you. So the beauty is that a lot of companies are now starting to understand the power of storytelling. They're able to understand that it's not just about the public in terms of getting your information out there. It's just a strategic advantage overall. With all the information technology out there in this world, we have to now start looking at what this information technology is trying to tell us. It's not just the data that's being structured into information that we should be stopping at. It's the subjective element. How is this information going to benefit the company and the people around us? A story is powerful for many reasons, but before we get to the technical parts, let's just get to the basic parts. Our ancient ancestors were creating cave paintings. They understood something that I believe our noisy world got away from. It's that a story is primal. And in the nitty-gritty details part, all stories do not need conflicts, settings, character buildups, all of that. You telling one of your friends regarding a job promotion that you just got recently, that's a form of a story. So when we can be a CSO in terms of our life, the information that we are presenting to the public is going to have much more impact, and our ideas are going to hit much stickier. Because that's what ideas are all about. We hear so many throughout our days, but only a few stick. A few stick because in order to be a CSO in terms of a company and understand how the masses want to hear stories, you got to start seeing how you could be the CSO in terms of your daily interactions. Are you presenting it in a way where people want to listen? Are you being a CIO or a CSO? Hopefully in this episode, you're understanding that there is a big difference. A CIO is simply turning data into information, while a CSO is turning that information into an experience. This position is going to be extremely popular in the up-and-coming generations, and it doesn't matter if you are a big globalized company or if you're a local mom-and-pop shop. I believe us hiring an individual position called CSO is one thing, but more importantly, if you are an entrepreneur, a public speaker, a content creator of any sort, it's our duty to start practicing this skill set early on in the game. You don't want to be the last one to the party. Storytelling is going to be getting bigger and bigger and bigger. We're seeing it in companies like Netflix and Amazon Prime who are investing as much as they can into their content. You don't have to be someone jumping up and down like a bozo. Storytelling can be used for multiple different concepts, not only to entertain, to inspire, to launch movements, to educate, and much more. See what brand of storytelling suits you. See how you can be the CSO in terms of your own empire, your life. And that's when the CSO, CIO, and all these different letterheads, they're going to be making much more sense. It's the message and how people want to listen that ultimately matters. If you have no clue how to get started off in storytelling, try this. Just try telling a 1-minute story to a created audience in your mind. Assume that this audience is young, so you're not using extremely big words. Assume that this audience has other things to do, so you're not dragging on. 1 minute to get your idea from point A to point B. Once we're done with this podcast episode, begin. Understand and prep your mind for what the future positions like CSOs are going to entail, because it's going to be a position that is going to be in demand in the near future. Thank you for joining the ArmaniTalks podcast, and I'll catch you on the next episode.